So I'll start with the latest from Washington, D.C. on executive orders and other federal actions. On August 7th, the administration issued executive order titled Improving Oversight of Federal Grant Making that provides for more federal control over discretionary research grants. Among the expected impacts are new notices of funding opportunities that will be delayed, at least in the short term, while funding agencies implement these new approval processes. Agencies are directed to give preference to the institutions with lower indirect cost rates, which could disadvantage Manoa and peer R1 institutions. Agencies have been instructed wherever possible to include termination for convenience clauses in grants, allowing agencies to end awards if they determine they no longer serve federal priorities. Future awards may also include stricter requirements for case-by-case approval and justification before grants are drawn down or released. All of this adds uncertainty for the current and future research funding, and we anticipate that there will be litigation and advocacy efforts by higher education associations in the coming days. In related news, the litigation over the administration's cancellation of more than 1,000 NIH research grants has reached the Supreme Court at the U.S. Supreme Court, which could rule on the case shortly. Two consolidated cases are challenging the cancellations, are tied to executive orders targeting DEI and gender ideology in research. A number of higher ed associations have filed briefs urging the NIH to restore these canceled grants, citing violations of federal law and agency regulations. A recent Government Accountability Office report found that the NIH's actions violated federal law by withholding funds approved by Congress. So we wait the outcome. It could set a major precedent for research funding stability and institutional autonomy. On a positive note on the grant front, some large grants at UH are receiving continued funding. Two examples from JAPSOM include NIH COBRE Diabetes Grant and the INBRE Program Grant, which supports developing the next generation of biomedical researchers. The Department of Justice issued a memorandum on July 29 entitled Guidance for Recipients of Federal Funding Regarding Unlawful Discrimination. While non-binding, it sets forth the Department of Justice's interpretation of federal anti-discrimination law and outlines practices the department views as potentially unlawful discrimination, especially within DEIA programs. Prohibited practices included granting preferential treatment based on protected characteristics, using unlawful proxies that function as substitutes for protected characteristics, segregating facilities or programs based on protected characteristics, implementing DEIA training that stereotypes, excludes, or disadvantages individuals based on protected characteristics, or creating a hostile environment. Obviously, lots to talk about here, but in combination with earlier issuances, the memo indicates there will be significant scrutiny of what the department considers to be these type of efforts, and we continue to monitor what that means for the University of Hawaiʻi. A federal action issued on August 7th entitled Ensuring Transparency in Higher Education Admissions directs the U.S. Department of Education to collect and report 6 years of UH applicant data disaggregated by race and sex. Previously, this information was only collected for enrolled students, so this is quite a change. Expanded reporting must also include admissions test scores, GPA, family income, Pell eligibility, parents' education and graduation rates, and are to be cross-tabulated once again by race and sex. As we understand it, this move was motivated by concerns about compliance with the 2023 Supreme Court ruling banning race-conscious admissions. I note that this is primarily geared at four-year institutions that are selected, and so doesn't really affect our community colleges. However, what we can expect is an increased reporting burden across the system, so we're monitoring what this looks like in the days ahead. So I end this part of my report with a little bit of good news. The Senate Appropriations Committee recently advanced a bipartisan funding bill that rejects the deep education funding and education cuts proposed by the administration. This bill would protect Pell Grant maximum at $7,395, maintain TRIO and campus childcare grants, and increase NIH's base funding by $400 million. We do expect the House version to differ from these terms pretty sharply. So conference negotiations will start up next month and determine final funding levels. Bottom line for this part of my report is that we are monitoring on a daily basis the constantly evolving federal landscape and preparing as best we can for whatever the outcome is as these different pieces move forward in a year of what is expected to be a fairly uncertain period. Back here in Hawaii, I'm happy to report on the progress of our new stadium that will replace the Aloha Stadium that you may have heard about in the news. On August 13th, the authority executed 2 agreements that clear the way for demolition of the existing stadium and provide for the design and construction of a new facility. 2 additional agreements that relate to the broader real estate aspects of the project remain under negotiation and are expected in the coming months. To be clear, no agreements with the University of Hawaiʻi have been entered yet, and we will bring those agreements to you as we begin those negotiations. The new target for opening is March 2029, a year later than originally projected, and seating capacity is now expected to be 22,500, down from the original 25,000 that was expected. The facility will feature 10 luxury suites, a lounge, club lounge, and 4 locker rooms, with the flexibility to host football, soccer, and other sports. We're happy to see this major step forward for the future of UH athletics and are encouraged by the momentum. We are committed to working with the Stadium Authority, the state, and our partners to make this new stadium a reality. The demolition of the stadium is expected to begin later this year, will be a significant milestone that this project is truly underway, and I know we all look forward to that. It is an exciting time of year. On Monday, we welcome our students back to campus. It really is one of the best times of the year, having the students and the energy and the faculty and staff. We're all ready to get started, and it's quite infectious. And I'm pleased to say I had the pleasure of meeting some parents and new students this week as they were checking in for housing, and the students looked very excited, and the parents were doing a good job of holding back some nervous energy and mixed emotions that I think are exactly as we would expect. It's a very special time for everyone. In terms of enrollment, it's too early to give you final numbers, but I can give you some indication of where we are, and these numbers will continue to grow even after school starts. So you can expect a formal report from us probably by October or late September. First-time freshman enrollment is 6% higher this year, which is incredibly exciting. Of all the numbers that we want to see move, that's the one that shows the increased momentum. Overall, in the system, we're up by about 1%. So I really want to congratulate all of the chancellors who have been working very hard on their enrollment efforts. It shows in our numbers this year. On the athletics front, we're excited to kick off our fall sports at UH Hilo and UH Manoa. The Vulcans are starting with women's volleyball and soccer. And at Manoa, women's soccer is underway and volleyball season is about to start. And I think you've all heard that on Saturday, we're going to play our first football game, hosting Stanford in a game that will be nationally televised. I want to compliment Athletic Director Matt Elliott and all of the efforts that were made to create all of our home football games for free on TV. We're really excited to get at least have this opportunity to offer these shows to and these events to our fans across the islands. And I hope everyone not only comes out to cheer in person, but also watches if they are unable to do that. So let's go Vulcans and let's go Bows. Quick positive news here on a couple different fronts, but particularly fundraising, which I understand you have a report for you. The UH Foundation's performance this year has been outstanding, and it's backed up by data. And I wanted to give you some sense of a comparison. We recently looked at how do our numbers compare to the Mountain West institutions, as obviously as we move into this new NIL setting, that becomes important. And when compared with 13 institutions, UH ranked third in overall fundraising this year, bringing in $171 million. I think that speaks volumes about the remarkable work that's being done, and a big mahalo to Tim Dolan and his entire team at the UH Foundation. Also, in good news, UH Hilo was awarded more than $1.4 million as part of a landmark $152 million national initiative to help develop the first fully open AI system to accelerate scientific research and innovation. And we'll be talking later today about some of the other efforts going on across the system, but this is wonderful momentum. I also want to give a big congratulations to our community colleges who were recently ranked 11th best in the nation by Wallet Hub. Quite a nice recognition. And finally, I wanted to end by mentioning just one day that many of you did participate in, but what really stood out for me as reflecting all of the tremendous work going on at the University of Hawaiʻi, and that was August 6th. The day began with a press conference at the UH Cancer Center with Governor Green, Senator Schatz, and Congresswoman Takuda for the announcement that the University of Hawaiʻi set a new extramural funding record of $734 million in FY25, the fourth straight year that we topped the $500 million mark. That is extraordinary based on the size of our institution. And as I said in that press conference, a huge testament to our faculty, staff, and students who are working in these spaces. Just a few hours later, once again with the governor and Senators Schatz and Hirono, we celebrated the grand opening of Honolulu CC's Advanced Manufacturing Program facility, a state-of-the-art hub training Hawaii's next generation of skilled trades and professionals. A tremendously significant collaboration with the U.S. government and the Department of Defense. And so again, just really impressive work where government and the university and the community all come together for a good cause. Finally, we ended with quite a fun evening that I think many of you were sitting somewhere close to me at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, where more than 40 UH alumni-owned businesses showcased their products to a sold-out crowd of 500 at the 4th annual UH Alumni Makers Market. It was really fun, a celebration of the innovation and, importantly, economic impact of UH alumni across the state. And to be standing at the front of those events as the UH president just made me tremendously proud and privileged to be part of this university, and I know you feel the same. So I wanted to share that with all of you today.